Hello, beautiful people. You are listening to Heart with Abagaba. I'm your host, Abby Dominguez, and this is the space where stories bloom, truth flows, and family is always at the center. Today on Heart to Heart with Abagaba, I'm joined by the incredible Lisa Watson, a transformational life coach and conscious parenting coach, children's book author, and the founder of Awaken the One. Lisa is passionate about empowering families from the inside out. As a PhD candidate in integrative health medicine and the creator of the Reparent Yourself method, she helps adults heal wounds, rewire limiting beliefs, and nurture emotional intelligence, not just for themselves, but also for the children in their lives. With a bold yet deeply compassionate style, Lisa clarifies complex topics like communication, boundaries, and the inner child healing, inviting us all to show up with a with more presence, power, and purpose. Get ready for a heartfelt and honest conversation about how we can raise a more conscious generation by starting within. Lisa, I'm conversing with you from Mesa, Arizona. Please tell our listeners where we are connecting from and add a short bio.
I am currently in Mexico. I live in Baja California Sur, Mexico. And so that is where we're conversing from. Welcome.
Nice. Mexico.
Yeah, I have a son in Arizona, though. I love Arizona.
You do. Awesome. Where about in Arizona?
He's in Scottsdale, like northern Scottsdale.
Oh, yeah, I know that part. And how's the weather in Mexico today?
It is beautiful. Where I live is nice and
Oh,
cool. It's like an hour north of Cabo, but we're kind of protected by the mountains. So it
uh-huh.
gets to like the high 70s, 80s here. And it's really nice. It's just not too hot, not too
Not too
cold.
hot. Not like
Little,
Arizona.
no, it's just a little bit of perfect over here.
Oh, I love it. And so I will let you continue. I'm sorry for the interruption. I'm going to let you continue with your bio and then we'll have
Well,
a
you
chat.
you pretty much told it as it is. I'm a
Uh-huh.
reparenting and conscious parenting coach, and I definitely do all the things that you mentioned with my clients. And my
Hmm.
passion really is about building, a generation that won't need healing and
Hmm.
really helping. I think my main mission here on this planet is just to help people remember who they are and remember that we are truly creator beings. We're energetic creator beings living
Hmm.
in a holographic reality. And
Hmm.
once we understand that, we can learn when we're told the truth about who we truly are. And we understand that our beliefs, our subconscious programming is basically what's running the show, and that
Yes.
we picked up this subconscious programming in our first 7 years of life, the majority of it, and
Hmm.
that we have the capacity to rewrite those subconscious beliefs, and we can do it through the reparenting process of our inner child, and we can take back control of our life. We can take our power back that we never knew we actually had.
I love it. And one thing that stood out to me was remembering who we are. I just can't get over that. I just love that. And I wanted to ask you, can you share your journey and what inspired you to become a reparenting coach? What experiences led you to focus on healing the inner child? I love this question. I can't wait to hear insights.
It's quite the story, actually. It's not a real quick answer, and I appreciate the question. What really led me to heal the inner child? I have been, um, I was born for this work, basically. Let's just say that. Like from a
Hmm.
young age, I've been very interested in spirituality and
Hmm.
just like knowing who we are. I'm not like one of your regular people that, I don't know, like I'm, the black sheep in the family kind of person. That wasn't really interested in normal sort of things and kind of beats by the beat of her own drum. And I had a difficult childhood. like so many of us do. I don't want to compare it to anyone else's childhood, but full of like, trauma and disconnection and
Mhm.
abandonment and narcissism and
Mhm.
alcoholism and things like that. And I grew up to then partner up with in a narcissistic relationship with a partner that I was married to for over 28 years. As much as there was a lot of good in that relationship, there was a lot of control, and I wasn't able. It was just a perfect expression of what I had learned in my beliefs as a child about who I was, whether I was worthy or deserving. And
Mhm.
then I created that because it is a holographic reality based off our belief system. So I created the reality that I was trained to create for myself with this husband of mine. And
Mhm.
then in 2015, I got a divorce. I have two children. They were in their 20s at the time that I got a divorce. Pretty much waited for them to be all through college and set before I decided to move on.
Oh.
And at that time, I realized like I really just wanted to live my life. The life that I was living was very much controlled by my ex-husband. Like he
Mhm.
called the shots, and
Mhm.
it was just there was a lot of fear in there and walking on eggshells and things like that. So I just decided I'm going to live life on my terms from now on. Like
Oh
this is
yeah.
my life. And so I dove back deep into actually like personal development and spirituality and things like that. Just I ended up quitting my job and
Mhm.
getting a different job that wasn't like I went from working in corporate America to like real estate where I could do my own thing and listening to lots of podcasts and YouTube channels and things like this. And one of the pivotal points that led me to the inner child was
Yeah.
I was listening to this YouTube channel one day and very spiritual also as well.
Mhm.
Um, and they were talking about money blocks and
Money blocks. Yeah.
creating wealth for
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah.
And it was something that I wanted to create more of for myself. And so I'm listening, and it basically said that the reason that you're not able to create wealth for yourself is because of your subconscious beliefs, the beliefs you hold on a deeper level about money and yourself.
Oh,
And
I love it.
that really struck me. And I was like, okay, so if I want my life to change on the outside, I got to go search for these subconscious beliefs that I'm not even aware of that I'm running. And
Mm.
then it just became a quest for that. Like, I want to know what beliefs I have that I'm not aware of.
Yes.
And that became my quest. Um, I then also had a spiritual awakening in 2017, which was just a little bit later. So that opened the door to a lot of things. I had a bad
Mhm.
back injury, which allowed me, I had to kind of quit my job and just sit back and do a lot of deep healing work.
Deep healing
And I
work.
decided,
Yeah.
and I got a spiritual coach. I decided to become a life coach, and I just delved deep into my own healing.
Yes.
And in this journey, I came across a woman. She was a someone who did a lot of channeling type thing.
Mhm.
And I had a session with her, and she introduced me to my inner child.
Oh, I love
I,
it.
I think I had an inkling that I needed to work with my inner child, but I wasn't sure what that looked like. And then so she kind of popped up in my reality. And so I had a little session with her, and she introduced we met my inner child. She was painting and doing some things.
Oh.
And when I met her, I realized that she held all of the information that I was looking for about my
Mhm.
subconscious programming. And
Mhm.
then with the work that I was doing, becoming a life coach, I was studying childhood development. I learned about what conscious parenting was. I was interested in it, so I started delving into conscious parenting. And it just became more and more apparent to me that any issues that we have in our adult reality
Mhm.
stemmed from the belief systems that we adopted and the experiences we had as children,
Mhm.
and that the way out was through doing inner child healing, through truly connecting with that inner child, having a true dialogue with them,
Mhm.
making them feel safe,
Yes.
validated, and heard.
Yes.
So all the
Yes.
things I was learning about what to do as a conscious parent, I
Mm-hmm.
realized that's what I need to do with my own inner child.
I
And
love
so
it.
that's what I started doing with my clients, which over the years, this was like, 10 years ago, over the years turned into creating this reparenting yourself modality where I basically help people to reprogram their belief systems through working on their inner child, which
Mm-hmm.
if they're parents or want to have better relationships with children, in turn out like that's the secret sauce to becoming a better parent, is to
Mm-hmm.
become a better parent to your own self
To your
first.
own self first. That resonates with me. The inner child, speaking of the inner child, is so special to me. I've had my own journey with the inner child, and it's been very healing and healthy and helped me move forward. I cannot talk about that enough. So, understanding the inner child, how do you define the inner child, and why is it important for individuals to reconnect with the aspects of themselves? I know you touched on that with your journey. Could you, any light that you have to shed on this? I would love it.
Yeah, it's the reason that the inner child is so important is it's kind of a story, but it's what I've figured out, okay,
Mm-hmm.
in my journey is that
Yeah.
we're spiritual beings.
Yes.
This avatar of ours is the temple, the body that just
Oh,
holds
yeah.
spirit that's having
Mm-hmm.
this experience. And our reality is nothing but an actual projection, a holographic
Mm-hmm.
projection. It's been proven by quantum physics. I also study energy and quantum physics. I'm getting, a degree in integrative health. So there's lots of other principles that I've brought into this, like brain development and
Mm-hmm.
and Eastern medicine and things like that. But when you understand that when we were born,
Yeah.
the first 7 years of our life, this avatar had to download an operating system in order to understand and learn how to move about this reality. It's
Yes.
basically the operating system, the brain is the operating system to this
Mm-hmm.
computerized, technically, being that we're in, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And in those first 7 years is when that subconscious mind is formed, the beliefs that happen just automatically. And they're about everything. Your beliefs about money, your beliefs about love,
Mm-hmm.
communication, what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, what's, evil, what's joy, everything you are taught based on your experience.
Yes.
It's not everything's neutral, but we give it all the meaning it has for us based on what we've been told about it or the experiences that we've had with it.
Yes, I agree with that.
We create our own reality based on what we believe about that reality. And so the inner child is your subconscious mind. But
Mm-hmm.
what I've also come to realize is that the inner child is the God part of you, that we're all God in form, God
Mm-hmm.
having an experience through this avatar,
Mm-hmm.
because we're all made up of God energy. The atom
Mm-hmm.
is energy, is God. The computer, the table, everything's made up of God source energy, including us. So we're just having this experience as God through this avatar, through this lens of beliefs and programs.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize that authentic, innocent inner child piece of you is that God self, that
Mm-hmm.
completely authentic, innocent expression without any of those programs, without any of those beliefs, just that
Mm-hmm.
most perfect expression of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so important to work with the inner child,
Yeah.
because the inner child holds all of your innocence. It holds your
Mm-hmm.
God creative self. It
Yes.
needs to be unencumbered. It needs to be
Mm-hmm.
completely accepted as is and
Mm-hmm.
loved. And so by having a dialogue with our inner child,
Mm-hmm.
I like to pretend that my inner child's just standing next to me all the time.
Oh.
Sometimes she's 2 and sometimes she's 15, but
Mm-hmm.
she's always there guiding me. And when I'm triggered a little or I feel a certain emotion,
Hmm.
I can tap into her being stuck out on some other timeline still.
Yeah.
When some,
Hmm.
a feeling wasn't validated or she felt
Hmm.
injustice or abandoned or something. And
Hmm.
all I have to do is turn to her and say, "Hey, I got you now.
I
Come,
got
come
you
here with
now.
me.
Yes.
I'm not ever going to
Yes.
let anyone be rude to you again. I'm not ever going to
Hmm.
not set a boundary." Like, we didn't get to do these things when we were kids. We didn't know about boundaries. We didn't even have rights when we were a child to make our
Hmm.
own decisions. They were made for us.
Yes.
But now you're an adult. So
Hmm.
we had the other extremely important piece in childhood, inner child healing, is truly understanding that you have to connect with your inner child from the perspective that they had
That they
when
had.
the
Yes.
event took place.
Hmm.
That perspective is one without a frontal lobe.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So it's one of a complete, just no filter acceptance
Hmm.
of truth. Whatever was
Yes.
said was true. If you
Hmm.
colored on the couch with a red pen because you just wanted to make a pretty picture, and
Hmm.
mama got mad and she gave you a timeout, she told you were naughty, you're, bad girl, get a timeout. All you heard was, "I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, I'm not good."
Right.
I was just being my authentic self. I don't know what
Hmm.
couches mean. I don't know what money is. I don't even know what
Right.
frustration is, or
Hmm.
time, or
Hmm.
effort, or any of those things.
Any of
I don't
those
even
things.
understand people's idea of what respect means or listening
Hmm.
means. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm just coloring.
Yes.
And now I'm not worthy. I'm not deserving. I don't feel loved. If I don't feel loved as a small child who knows intrinsically that they're dependent on this adult for their survival, then you go into a fight, flight, or freeze mode because you
Mm.
don't even feel safe to
Right.
be yourself.
Yes.
So we disconnect from a piece of ourself out on that timeline.
Hmm.
And when we go rescue our inner child, we have to tell our inner child the adult perspective of things. We have to
Right.
explain to them, "Mommy loved you. This was not
Hmm.
about you. You didn't really
Right.
do anything wrong. She
Mm.
was just frustrated about the couch and the money and
Right.
the cleaning and the
Right.
stuff. But you're
Right.
perfect.
Right. I
You
love
didn't do
that.
anything wrong.
Hmm.
Come here with me. I love you.
Hmm.
I'm gonna it you know it's about boundaries and just
Yes.
explaining. It's the way that we need to be with our own children. We don't just say no or you're bad
Right.
or listen to me.
Right.
We actually explain the reality to them, even if
Yes.
we know they can't quite understand it.
Right.
We give them the
Right.
respect to
Hmm.
say, as your brain is forming,
Hmm.
as you're learning and to maneuver about this world, I'm going to teach you the ways of the world. And you can't really make a mistake. If you drop a glass and it breaks, you just learn that glass breaks when it hits the floor and that we need to be careful that that glass can cut us. And if you break it again tomorrow, then we're just going to learn how to sweep it up again.
Right.
And
I like that.
we're going to be patient and loving and kind to our own inner child as
Hmm.
much. We absolutely have to do that to be good parents.
Yes.
If you have negative self-talk and you're like, "Oh, you're such an idiot, Lisa, why'd you do that again?" You're talking to your inner child.
Mm.
You're downloading a belief by saying that to yourself, that you're stupid.
Right.
You're not worthy, you're not deserving, and you're not good enough. We've got to change the words that we're saying to
Yes.
ourselves if we want our inner child to believe us. And then we want to be able to create a reality out there that
Yes.
mirrors that back to us, because our reality is simply a reflection of the vibration, the frequency, and the belief systems that we hold. And if we believe we're not good enough, we will create circumstances,
Yes. Yes.
situations, experiences in our lifetime that mirror back to us that same thing.
Yes.
That's how reality works. It's just a mirror of experiences and situations based off of belief systems and an energetic frequency that we hold about ourselves. And the doorway, the portal, is through the inner child
For the
and
inner
getting
child.
him or her to feel good and safe about being who they are in order to do that.
Oh my goodness, this was so good, Lisa. Thank you so very much for sharing this marvelous insights with us. And I had a question on authenticity. What does it mean to be authentic? And how does our authenticity get squashed as children? What can parents do to prevent this from happening? You touched on that. I can move on to the next question, or we can talk more about that.
Yeah, I mean, we can just basically pull the two strings together on that. That the example that I gave about like drawing on a couch, that would
Mhm.
be an example of authenticity as a child, and that not
Right,
to squash it. It's
right.
important that we correct behavior without shaming. So
Mhm.
the child needs to know, like, oh, although I see, wow, you're quite creative and you made a pretty picture here on the couch. We don't draw on the couches. And you can
Right,
say, because it takes mommy a long time to clean it up. I have
right,
to go pay money. It's expensive. So we're
right,
just going to draw. I'm going to tell you why I'm frustrated. I'm going to tell you why I don't like this stuff to happen without making you feel like you're a bad person.
right,
You just didn't know, but now we know. So next time we're going to draw on paper, right? And if
right.
they don't, we correct it the same way again. Hey,
Mhm.
remember, we draw on paper. I'm going to have to take your markers away. If you, there
Right,
has to be natural consequences.
right.
You don't get to play with the markers now. Okay, we're going to put
Mhm.
them up here because we have to remember we
You have
don't
to
draw
remember.
here.
Yes.
So when it comes to being an adult, though, it looks different. Like people ask me that, like, who is my authentic self?
Mhm.
And sometimes it's actually buried under layers of belief systems from your childhood, and we have to find who that authentic self is. It's taken me years to uncover parts of my authentic self.
Mhm.
Like, what do I really want? Like, or am I sitting here not saying something to this person because I'm worried of how they're going to feel if I say it? Or am I
Mhm.
just going to be my authentic self? And no
Mhm.
matter how they respond to this, whether they like it, they don't like it, whether they have bad things to say about me later or they don't, whether they want to continue to be my friend or not, whether I lose this job or I keep it, I'm going to be true to how I really feel and what I believe right now.
Mhm.
When we do that, we cut through fear. We
Yes.
no longer allow fear to drive our lives.
Oh, yes.
We're not doing it because of money. We're not doing
Yes.
it because of acceptance. We're just simply speaking from our own authenticity.
Mhm.
Although it's a scary path, it is your path to freedom. Because
Yes.
when you do this, you will be guided through that authenticity to your highest timeline. It will get rid of the people in your life that
Mhm.
are not in alignment with you,
Yeah.
and it will bring people who are in alignment. You may go through a period where you're alone
Mhm.
because you're being this new authentic self and people aren't used to it. Maybe they're not in alignment with your truth anymore. And
Mhm.
we have to be willing to sacrifice anything outside of us in allegiance to our own authenticity, which to me is synonymous with our inner child and our God self.
Ooh, I just love that. Speaking of fear and beliefs, fear-based beliefs, how can you explain how fear-based beliefs develop and how they impact our lives? What role does reparenting play in transforming these beliefs?
Fear-based beliefs are what I had just mentioned there, like I'm not going to do something because then this might
Right.
happen.
You did mention that, yes.
Yeah, so like my motivation is based more in fear of what might happen as a result of this rather than just being authentic and moving forward with what I want to do. And fear-based beliefs are downloaded within our childhood because we're told many fearful things like, well, if you do that, this might happen, or you
Right.
can't do that because she might think this, or you
Mhm.
can't tell the truth because it, like, go give example I love to use is something simple. It's like, go give grandma a hug. And it's like, I don't feel like giving grandma a hug. Go give grandma a hug or she might get upset and think that you
Oh,
don't like her.
oh man.
So it's like I have to not be true to my own self because I'm in fear of what someone else may feel or do.
Hmm.
How will that play out in my adulthood? Will I
Yeah.
not be honest with my girlfriend or my boyfriend or someone at work because I'm afraid of their reaction? And now
Mm.
I start losing touch with my authentic self and what
Right.
my real needs are because I'm putting other people in
Right.
front of me.
Yeah.
And so these are very little things that we constantly are doing as
Mm-hmm.
parents, unknowingly,
Yeah.
innocently,
Yeah.
not realizing. And so I just love to tell parents that, whatever it is that you say to your child, ask yourself, what am I really teaching them here? And
Yes.
how is this message going to translate into their adult years?
I like that. Wow. So, spirituality and healing. How does spirituality influence our coaching, and in what ways does it enhance your client's ability to heal their trauma and reclaim their power?
Spirituality is a huge piece in what I teach. And as I started this off by saying, we're spiritual beings having an experience in this body.
Right.
How that, and I always, this is the foundation of what I teach. And I think it does give my clients like really quick movement in their healing. Because what I do is I detach you from this avatar. You are not your avatar.
Yes.
This is simply, like I said, it's an avatar. It's a computerized being that is acting out of belief systems that it was
Mhm.
taught. So when you can get distance and you understand, oh, I'm the spiritual burst being who's actually the conductor of this avatar. Like I get to control what programs I want it to continue running
Mhm.
simply by the thoughts that I choose and the actions that I take. I'm 100% in control of that. And every experience that I've had has just been an experience. It's just become a belief. It's not who I am. Like, we're not broken. None of us need fixing, and none of us are broken. We
Mhm.
just need to know and recognize through self awareness what the programs and belief systems are that we're running, and then choose new ones. And when you're able to get that type of like make it less personal about this avatar and all the things it's done or
Mhm.
experienced or has done, the bad habits it has, it gives you space enough to be like, oh, okay, I just have to, reprogram this computer here. It's not me.
Mhm.
And by taking that charge off and understanding you're really this amazing, powerful being that is in charge of turning energy into form,
Yeah.
that's really powerful.
That is powerful. So, speaking of spirituality, conscious parenting, how can parents incorporate spiritual principles into their parenting to foster emotional intelligence and empowerment in their children?
I believe in telling children just the truth about who they are. And I think it's the type of conversation, we're having here today. It's important that your children know who they are.
I
I write children's books, so it's something else that I do. I help reprogram the adult mind through reparenting, but I also write children's books. I have a website, awakentheone.org. I'm actually in the middle of a Kickstarter campaign right now. Um, that's selling my first children's book that comes out August 6th of 2025 called Courage Finds His Calm. And it's about teaching children practical methods to this first series called Mindfulness Within to emotionally regulate and be empowered in who they are. So the spirituality, children need to learn that they are not this being, that they
right.
need to know that you're a spiritual being having a human
I
experience,
love
but
that.
that you're fully capable of managing and maintaining this human avatar. And they need to know that it's their responsibility. It's their responsibility to emotionally regulate. It's their responsibility to make good choices. It's their responsibility to take care of this avatar.
Yes.
They don't need to be threatened into it. They don't need to be punished into it. It's a privilege to be in
Mhm.
this body, to
Oh,
have
yes.
this body. And
Oh,
as
yes.
parents, it's our job to be the caretakers of these little beings until they
Hmm.
are able to become their own caretakers of this body,
Yes.
and just instill in them that they're in charge. This is their body, and speak to them in
Hmm.
a language where it's like, asking their permission for things like, when they're babies. I think it's kind of silly to say, like, can I change your diaper? Well, they're not going to answer you, but it's like, hey, I'm going to change your diaper because we need to get you clean. But it's like, is it okay if I give you a hug? And asking them permission so that they develop these belief systems from a young time that they're sovereign beings, that
Yes.
they're the ones that get to make the choices, where we live in a society that has been set up to keep us disempowered. We've been separated from this knowledge of the fact that we are God and that we're really this powerful, because it's easier to control a population that doesn't know their true power and that is always kept sick. It's easier to make money off of sick people than healthy people. And this world has been, you know, designed around power and manipulation and keeping the masses in control.
Mhm.
So by being aware of your own power and your own divinity, you're less likely to be held, in control.
Mhm. Wow, that was so powerful, Lisa. I know you may have touched on this, but I'm still going to ask anyway. Impact on early experiences. How do early childhood experiences shape adult behavior and beliefs? We touched on that. Maybe I'll move on to the next question. Okay. Okay. So personal empowerment. In your view, what does it mean to be truly empowered, and how can individuals align their beliefs and actions to live authentically in a way that reflects their divine nature? We touched on that, but
We,
any
we
more?
did, and I can definitely talk about that again, but it all comes back to the having that allegiance to our own self, to our own inner child, to our own authenticity. When we hold allegiance to that, it means that we're showing up in our relationships with good boundaries.
Yes.
It means that we're using our voice, that we're not allowing people to, you know, speak disrespectfully, for like, it's not okay that you talk to me that way. We're
Oh yeah.
disconnecting from energies that no longer serve us. Like,
Yes.
we're just navigating our life with personal empowerment, knowing that there's no one coming to save us, that we are here to save ourselves. We
Mhm.
have to give. The reparenting process is really about giving your inner child everything you didn't have when you were a child. You just decide, I'm just going to give it to myself now. I'm going to give myself good boundaries. I'm going to give myself self
Mhm.
love. I'm going to give myself encouragement. I'm going to give myself patience. I'm not waiting for a man to show up in my life or a woman in a relationship to love me. We've been duped into thinking that's the answer. They just push
Mhm.
relationships on us from a small age of getting married and finding your twin flame and finding your other half. No, you're your other half. You become your other half. Give yourself everything that you ever wanted and needed, the validation, the encouragement, all of it. And then that relationship that comes to you will just enhance that for you. So it's just about really having allegiance to your own self at the end of the day.
That is super powerful. I love that. And Lisa, do you want to share, would you like to share your social media handles and where listeners can find your books? And
Yes, as I said, I have a website, awakentheone.org is where I hold my children's books. I also have reparent-yourself.com. I did write a book called Reparent Yourself, for adults, to find healing and harmony within, but it's not officially out yet. It's with my publisher. I have two more children's books coming out as well. And like I said, they're on Kickstarter right now, raising money to get those other two done. I'm on TikTok as Reparent Yourself. I'm on Instagram. You can find me on my website. All the links are there. Yeah.
congratulations on your children's book. And when it comes out, I really want to have you over here again so we can give it a shout out and then talk about it.
Absolutely. August 5th is, you can pre-order it now or you can order it through Kickstarter, but August 5th is the day that it will officially come out, but you can pre-order it, wherever books are sold online right now.
Okay, sounds wonderful. Lisa's work is a powerful reminder that the journey to becoming the parent or person we hope to be starts with healing the parts of us that once felt unseen, unheard, or unloved. If something in today's conversation stirred your heart or offered a fresh perspective, I invite you to sit with it, journal about it, share it with someone you trust. The kind of inner work isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. And if you want to learn more about Lisa's books or coaching programs, be sure to check out her website. And I'm going to put notes and links in my show notes and resources. We
Awesome.
are
Thank you so
so
much.
grateful for your work, Lisa, and
Thank you.
for the light you bring to families, children, and communities. Your wisdom and dedication inspire us to keep showing up with love, hope, and purpose. Thank you so much for joining us today on Heart to Heart with Abagaba. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
And until next time, dear listeners, keep leading with love, curiosity, and compassion, especially for yourself. Thank you for joining us for another heart to heart moment. I hope today's story touched your heart the way it touched mine. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone you love. And don't forget to subscribe to this and our YouTube channel so you never miss a moment of connection, inspiration, and joy. The stories and insights shared on Heart to Heart with Abagaba are personal and based on lived experiences. While some of our guests may be licensed professionals in their fields, the content of this podcast should not be considered legal, medical, or mental health advice. For expert guidance, please consult a qualified professional directly. Until next time, take care of your heart, take care of each other, and keep celebrating the love that makes us family. Celebrate!